vibras? Because we know the vibras. Welcome back to another episode of the You Know the Vibras podcast. This is your host, Michael Carrasco. As always, accompanying me, the one and only Juan the Don. What's going on, my boy? How you feeling?
Rolling with the punches, man.
Yes, sir.
Thriving,
Yes,
thriving,
sir.
thriving.
I mean, that's the only way to do it, if I'm being honest.
There's
Sometimes
no
you just
other way,
gotta
man.
take what life throws at you and just roll with it.
Facts. Or kind of adapt it to your lifestyle and make the most of it, I feel.
Facts,
I think
bro.
that's the
I agree
biggest
with
thing.
that.
Not letting new challenges and things overtake you and, remaining in your path, but also taking things away from that and knowing that everything, like for instance, every season serves its purpose. So that's what they say. So if
I
something came
agree, man.
into some your life at a certain time of your life, it's for a reason. So I feel like look at it in that aspect and also know that take something away from it and implement it. Don't just see it as negatively or whatever, but more so
Hmm.
learn from it and also try to adapt it to your current lifestyle. So in the way that it fits, you know what I mean?
Now, I couldn't agree anymore with everything that you just said, man. I agree. Sometimes you just gotta, adapt to the situations in front of you, and just keep it pushing. At the end of the day, you can't. I feel like for me, I try not to stress too much on like little inconveniences or little challenges that can come up in life. I just have to adapt and keep it pushing and keep grinding. I feel like that's the best way to deal with it.
Facts.
Yeah, but let us know, man. How was your week? I know this new month starting now. How was the end of April for you, and how's the first couple days of May treating you so far, man?
um, I'd say end of April. I mean, end of April was interesting. At least I say in Chicago with the whole
Mm-hmm.
weather. The weather's just been on and off with rain, and that's kind of
Oh
expected in the
yeah.
spring. You know what I mean? The whole rain
Mm-hmm.
thing. But there's days that it just downpours, and then a couple minutes later it'll just be sunny. So nah,
Kind of
but
like Florida
everything,
weather.
yeah. But speaking more personally in the personal aspect, it's been good, man. God is doing his, he's working.
He's doing his work.
He's doing a lot of
Amen.
great things for me, and I'm grateful. I knew, I was it was due, in due time I'd say because I've been
Mm-hmm.
very faithful to him and I've been doing everything I'd say correctly in my eyes and in his eyes I'd say. So it's all about being patient and having faith and the blessing will come and the problem is only those that are patient receive the blessing because when you're impatient you kind of force things to happen and that then impairs your vision and also your future that he does have. Remember, he sees the future. He already knows what the future is. We're just he's guiding us, so we have to be patient and let him do his thing, and just know that he's working and great things happen to those who wait.
Amen. Amen to that, brother. Glad to hear it. Now, I
Yeah.
mean,
So and I've been
kind of.
reading books too. I've been reading books. I just told you.
Yes,
I've been
sir. Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah. We were talking about
yeah.
that, man. I've
I've
been
been
getting
getting
into
into that, man.
books as well,
Yeah.
too, man.
Yeah.
I feel like now that I'm gonna say I'm a grown man now. I actually enjoy as a grown man. I enjoy reading books. I feel like back in like college, high school, middle school, I didn't like reading, and it was because it was forced like onto us. Like we had to, like, for
Read
example,
something you didn't like. I'd say.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Like now, as a grown up, you can pick and choose what you want to read,
Right.
and also like where I work, I come into in contact with or meet a lot of people that are in the top 1%, and the number one thing that they always recommend it was like, hey, read a book. It doesn't matter what it is, but you start reading, read 30, 20 minutes a day. And man, honestly, like my mind, the way that thing is completely different than like, let's say like 2, 3 months ago, just
Yeah.
because every day I read at least 20 minutes. And that translates to, like a good 15, 20 pages. You don't have to overdo it. If you enjoy it, go ahead and read more.
Nah, well, first off, before we get into that, comment down below
Mm-hmm.
any book recommendations that you may have for us, so
100%.
we could check those books out. But I'd say the most important thing that has helped me is, like you said, isolating yourself a little bit, but also
Mm-hmm.
highlighting key points, like literally with a
Oh
highlighter, highlight the
yes.
key points of the book. So
Yes,
that way
I
you could go
agree.
back to it and remember what you read. But yeah, I mean, it's good that we're doing things differently. It's all gonna work for us in our favor. Um,
100%.
I just, life happens, and it kind of forced me to switch many things and
Mm-hmm.
implement new things, like I was mentioning earlier. But it's all to our advantage. So don't look at things negatively. Just know that everything happens for a reason, as cliche as it may
Yeah.
sound. But
No,
everything's
100%.
good,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Everything's good, and we're blessed and
That's
we're
what's
healthy.
up.
So, and we're here
Amen.
recording a
Amen.
podcast.
Yes, sir. Hey, yo, let us know if you want us to start a little, book club over here. The Vibras good book club, man. I'm open to so many ideas right now, bro. That I feel like that'll be something you know cool for us to connect with the audience. So, yo, let us know if y'all think that's a good concept that we should probably perhaps do maybe in like a private community here with the viewers. But no, back my week as well it's been pretty good. Had to deal with a couple different changes at work, but everything is good. I'm thankful for being able to wake up every day. And same thing over here with the weather. It's been crazy. We've been literally thunderstorm like the last couple 2 days. But it's like you said, it's goes crazy for like a good 30, 15, maybe up to an hour, and then it just like it never happened.
Mhm. Facts. Nah, but
Yeah.
also let us know in the comments how's your month of April went, and
Hmm.
hopefully we all have a great May coming up. So let's
Yes,
just
sir.
manifest that. But let's get into
Yes,
this though,
sir.
man.
Let's do it. Let's do it. But let's get into today's talk. We want to talk about today. The conversation is gonna be as follows. We're gonna be talking about you know parents slash what do I call it, offsprings or children duos in major sports, and also we also gonna touch on the role that parents play when their kids play sports, and the decisions that they make based on what the parents either their recommendations or opinions.
Right.
So let's start it off. We got to start off number one. A big, I would say, son of a big legend in the basketball world. Uh,
Mm.
Bronny James declaring for the draft.
Right. Right.
Very very
This
big
this was very
news.
this was very controversial
Hmm.
because to many, Bronny wouldn't isn't considered this a star yet. He was just blossoming.
Right.
He wasn't getting. I mean, I seen he was getting like 20 something minutes per game, but his points per game weren't really adequate to what a top pick would be.
Right.
So it just seems like one of those things where he kind of felt pressured by LeBron, I'd say, because LeBron did put pressure on his kids in a way, not directly, but he
Mm.
did say like, "Hey, I'm gonna retire after I play with my kid, like my kids in the NBA."
Right. I
So it
remember. I
kind
remember
of
that interview.
exactly. So it kind of made Bronny speed up the process. Um, I say maybe one more year would have been great, but he still is developing, and it's one of those situations where you see like, and it's messed up, but just because his name is gonna have some sort of weight in him getting
Right.
drafted.
No, I agree, and I mean we seen it throughout the years. Like living up. I feel like living up to, let's say, especially if you are the son or daughter of a predominant, you know,
The
athlete,
legend, yeah.
a legend, right? That I feel like that plays heavily on you, um, especially trying to live up to what your parent did.
Right.
And I feel like
So
that's a lot of big pressure on that with that.
right. Well, I mean, all this big thing like Bronny, that's literally
Hmm.
got LeBron James Jr. name, literally, I'd say. And
Right,
then
right,
there's instances where kids go the complete different route. I mean, like
right.
who was it?
My
What's his name?
Michael Jordan
Well, Michael
Jr.
Jordan Jr. He did play
was
basketball, but
one.
he wasn't as talented as his
It
father.
wasn't as talent. Yeah.
Um, and there's other like Magic Johnson's son was like a complete. People were not
Hmm.
expecting that, and you see it a lot where, and my question to you and to the audience would be,
Mhm.
as parents, how do you prevent that from happening? Or in a sense of how do you not pressure them, but more so kind of let them be? And if they happen to like the sport and enjoy it, how do you not pressure them into not enjoying it? I'd say.
Right. I would say, like, for example, for me, like, I was brought up playing baseball, and I think that for in my situation was more of a cultural thing rather than, like, like parents telling me, "Hey, you're going to play baseball and you got
Yeah.
to be good," right? And I feel like the main thing is just comes down to, instead of like telling them how to do, or like telling them what they have to do,
Mhm.
more like supporting them, right? You got to support them. If they have a bad game, okay, hey, so good, bad game, it happens. Comes with the territory. How can we, overcome that? And I feel like that's the biggest part of it, is supporting your child rather than pressuring them to be good or some, or make certain
Yeah.
decisions when playing sports.
I think the biggest thing is like not looking at them any differently if they don't want to play the sport that you
Right.
played, or the sport that you want them to play. Accept
Yeah.
them and support them like you said.
Yeah, and like good thing that you brought up that point, because we seen that, we seen athletes that, for example, there's a baseball player, his son is phenomenal in football, and didn't go the baseball route. I forgot exactly who it was, but it happens where they don't necessarily like the sport that their parent played, but they like another sport and they turn out to be good at that sport.
Well, yeah, well, the gene, and I mean, also
Hmm.
you have all the reasons to be great because you have the resources. Your
Exactly,
parent is
that
gonna
as
give
well.
you, the support. But one thing I did want to touch on, going back
Hmm.
into it, I feel like the parents' presence at games, even the family's presence at games, is very important. Knowing that
Yes,
knowing that your
100%.
family supports you, and what you're doing
Yeah.
is more than enough. I always had that. That was one of my biggest things that used to break my heart. Was after games
Mhm.
not seeing family. Um, and it's something that you have to understand. Not everyone's situation is the same. My mom had to work multiple jobs and everything, but it would still break my heart. You know what I mean?
Nah, I feel that,
And
man. Like, I feel like
yeah,
me playing, we both play baseball, and then you went the football route. But I felt the same way sometimes, but I had to kind of like take a step back and realize, I was like, yeah, like I'm able to play baseball because my mom's over there
yeah.
hustling her little behind, making it happen. Uh, but I'm gonna tell you what, bro. When I saw my mom in the bleachers, man, I had the best games ever. Never fail, never fail.
Yeah.
And I kind of used that as a drive, when I was playing. Unfortunately, career got cut short, but it happens.
Nah, yeah. But man, going into the conversation though, man, you've seen many controversy with parents kind of being the spokesperson per se
Oh
for the kids.
yeah,
You seen it with the infamous LeVar Ball, where he was kind
yeah,
of
and the Bowl brothers.
impacting all of his kids' draft stock and potential NBA
Mm-hmm.
opportunity with just opening
Mm-hmm.
his mouth. You know what I mean?
Nah,
Um,
facts,
and
facts. And
and
I mean, we
yeah,
we saw the backslash. Like, two of them had to go overseas. Lamelo was able to get drafted.
panned out too.
Um, Yeah, and I mean, he's a good
He's the
player.
best
The
one. He's
main
the best
thing,
one out of all of them.
yeah. The only thing, and I feel like, and him and Lonzo, they're good players, but they just need to figure out how to not be injured all the time.
Well, yeah, well that. But the good thing is, Levar kind of learned, I'd say, and he backed
Hmm.
off from them, which is good. I don't know who in
Right?
their
Yeah,
team
100%.
convinced them to fall back, but it was it was
Right?
it was bad, man. Like he was, turning down sneaker deals and different deals because he was
Facts.
promoting his
Yeah.
company and their
Hmm.
shoes. Like it was crazy. It was crazy, man. It was a wild
Nah,
time.
it is true. Yeah, yeah. And I
But
mean, I
yeah,
feel like we grew up with that, I feel like I was still was I still in high school, or I think it was like my senior year. That's when the first time I heard
Yeah.
of the Ball brothers.
And
I was like, man, this
yeah, no, and the thing is that parents saw that and wanted to implement that as well. Um,
right.
and that's where the problem becomes, bigger than what it is, because you have to let the kid, let your child do what they have to do. Let them represent themselves. Obviously,
Hmm.
give them advice, but don't try to control them, especially once they're getting in to be a young adult. Because
Right.
you're gonna make them still feel somewhat dependent, but also you're gonna make them want to get away from you for good, because you're affecting a lot of things that they
That going on in their
partnerships and
lives.
stuff that they got going on in their
Yeah.
life. You know what I mean? He was even interfering with relationships, man. Like he was toxic, man.
Facts, man. Facts. Nah, I agree, man. And I feel like it. There's another situation, and I'm gonna take it to boxing because I love boxing. And it's like Bill Haney, man.
Mm.
Like I feel like he doesn't. I don't see him like in the same aspect as LeVar Ball, where he was interfering with those like potential deals and stuff like that. But for on the other hand, we can have like Bill Haney, where he just speaks more than what he should, and kind of gets his son in trouble when it comes to like media and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, I mean, also you've seen it in recently in football with Deion Sanders, now the head coach of
Right.
Colorado, or sorry, Coach
Mm-hmm.
Prime.
Coach Prime.
Yeah, it's crazy. He recently had negative acceptance from many, because he had a certain reference that he made to the upcoming, well, not this draft, next year's draft.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically said that he made clear that there are certain teams he will not allow to draft his children and Travis Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
And he, it's basically like a threat of pulling the Eli Manning. Eli Manning in 2004
Right.
basically had a standoff with teams, like telling teams he would not play for them. And eventually he fell in the laps of the Chargers, and then eventually got to the Giants. But yeah, basically he said one of them is going to be the one, and the later one would not go behind four, referring to the fourth pick. He said, now all of this is subjective because I know where I want them to all kind of go. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so with certain cities, ain't gonna happen. It's gonna be Eli. We ain't doing that.
Damn, that's crazy, man. I mean, the crazy thing, like for me, is like sometimes the team that you don't want to play for turns out being like the best decision that or the best thing that happened to you.
Yeah, but I just feel like as a parent, man, like, come on, man, like let them shine, let them create their own story, let them do their thing. Don't interfere with their money either. Like, you're talking
Right?
millions.
Yeah. 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 100%. hundred
I mean,
percent.
I know you're a
Especially with
millionaire
these
already,
contracts nowadays,
but
man.
yeah, but like, I don't know, it's something where I understand essentially, because like you look at the situation with, like, for instance, last year with Bryce Young going to the
Hmm.
Panthers, and having a miserable season. Um and then you look like CJ Stroud, in the right situation, had a phenomenal season. So I feel like they don't want
Right.
their kids to go through, years of, like, rebuilding. But
Right.
um
Right. Right.
and
I
and
mean,
and
I
that,
do.
well,
I
because
do
because
see
that
that
because
point
that
of
well
view
because
as well.
if the team isn't winning, then it kind of makes you look bad, even though you're performing well.
Facts.
So that's one of those
Facts.
things where I kind of understand it, but still, I think you know, them being young adults and men already, in college already, like, come on, man, let them do what they got to do. No one decides where they want to get drafted, and once you do that, like, that's already going to be a character issue, and amongst the locker room, they're going to be looked at differently. You know what I mean?
No, I
So
agree, and good thing that you brought up like the whole locker room thing because that can create a lot of issues,
tension,
especially a lot of tension, and I feel like that will bring down like the teammate chemistry down.
right?
Now that
Well,
that
you see that already at Colorado with Shador. Um, and this is funny. We were thinking about this earlier.
hmm
The whole coach's kid situation, where you see them getting some
fact,
sort of
yeah,
preference in college. You would not think there would be politics like that in college, and there was some beef going on with some kids that transferred out of Colorado, saying that Dion and his kids didn't even know their names. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm,
how we on the same team and y'all didn't even know who I was? Like, but yeah, let's talk about the
right.
whole coach's kid thing, man.
Ooh, I feel like every athlete growing up, dealt with it. We dealt with it,
Yeah.
had to overcome it. Um, I was in some situations that, I just had to walk away from. Let's put it that way. I just had to, be level headed, kind of like be the grown up in the situation and just walk away from the situation. But man, no, man, it's crazy, man, because I feel like when you accept the role of a coach, I'm thinking in the sense of like how I would want, let's say if I was, once I have kids and I was to coach one of their sports team, how I would want to approach the whole situation. Like for me, there's two things. One, like, yes, the coach's kid does get a little more preference than every other
The
player,
position well in baseball he's always the shortstop,
right?
and or
Or
pitcher,
pitcher.
and
Yeah.
football he's the quarterback, basketball
Mm-hmm.
he's probably the point guard.
Mm-hmm. Right, right,
You know what
right.
I mean? So
And then the flip side, when you are a coach's kid, I feel like it's a you get a type of different treatment, and not in the good aspect. Um, if you got any of you guys are, if you're one of your parents coach one of your teams, let us know how the experience was, and let us know if if we are accurate. At least from what I've seen is the coach's kid usually gets a little more of a tougher treatment compared to the rest of the team.
yeah, I mean sometimes, or more than usual, but
More than usual, right?
and how can I don't know what the percentage will be, but sometimes the kid is actually good, and then sometimes he's
Right. No, that
trash.
is true. That that
Sometimes he's
that is
trash.
true
You know what I
too.
mean? So
That is true. I wouldn't say it's a 50-50, more like I would say like a 75% of the time the kid turns out to be a beast. And then like the other
well,
25%
the
is like,
resources and on the reps, of course.
oh yeah, 100%. 100%. And that's another thing that like you said earlier, like sometimes the coach has better resources, so the kid is able to become better, and I would say become a better player than the rest of the team, just because you have somebody that's especially if your parents is a good coach or great coach,
Hmm.
you will learn a lot of things. Although you may not like it, you will learn a lot of things and be better than the rest.
Right.
So I feel like it's both a pro and a con at the same time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it all definitely is relative and all depends, but I
Hmm.
think it's definitely a problem because the kid will get accustomed to that, and then once they get, for instance, to high school and they no longer have that treatment, it's going to be hard for them to adjust because
It's a
they've been
little different to
spoiled. You know what I
adjust.
mean? They've been
Yeah.
spoiled so long that now when they are amongst other players and in high school and also a new coach that is no longer going to accept everything from you.
Right.
Um,
Right. Right.
it kind of sets them up for failure. I say low key,
I mean, in some sense, yeah, 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 yeah. No,
and the
I
parent
agree.
still tries to
Be like
trespass.
like
Yeah,
the what do they call it, the sideline coach or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, exactly.
like the bleachers
Oh
coach.
yeah, or try to give pointers like, oh, like you know what I'm saying. Like that's
Hmm.
when I think it's a problem. But I don't know.
No, I agree. I
I
agree.
think the whole the
I feel
whole
like the
thing
best
is.
way, like sometimes like we said earlier, you just gotta let kids be kids, and
Right,
let them go out there, have fun. If they improve, great. If they don't,
right.
maybe it's not the right sport for them.
Right. But there has been some successful father and son duos in
Hmm.
sports where the father was, a legend or somewhat respected in their
Hmm.
respected sports. Um and I'm just gonna go through a few of them. You
Yeah,
had
yeah, go right ahead.
I didn't know about Kobe's dad. This is new to me, but it says Joe and Kobe Bryant.
Mm,
Also Tony Gwynn Sr. and Tony Gwynn Jr.
mhm.
Doc Rivers and Austin Rivers. Although I wouldn't say Austin Rivers was successful. He's still, I don't know. I mean, maybe in college, but not in the NBA.
Right.
And Howie and Chris Long, I like that one.
Mhm,
Bill and Luke Walton, the Ripkins, with Cal Ripken,
mhm.
Cal Ripken Sr., Cal Ripken Jr. Fire, Felipe Moises Alou. Shout out to DR. You know what I'm saying? The
Yes,
Alou.
sir. Yes,
The
sir.
Alous. Because yeah, Felipe was the first Dominican to appear in a regular MLB game. So following his dad's footsteps after that, that's pretty that's
Pretty
the bar
big.
set pretty high right there, man.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
you know what I mean? That's major. You have Del Curry and Steph Curry. That's very
Right.
potent. Three
Well,
point gurus.
correct, correct. Can't forget about Seth as well.
Oh yeah, Steph as well, but we're
Mhm.
referring to success.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. That's
Yannick
true.
Noah and Joakim Noah. Yannick Noah actually was a world champion in tennis, and Joakim Noah is the star basketball player for the Bulls. So this is an
Mhm.
interesting father and son duo, not in the same sport. Very
Right,
interesting.
like we pointed like I pointed out earlier. Yeah.
Oh, in racing and NASCAR, this is interesting. You have the Earnhardts.
Earnhardt's
Yeah,
legendary.
legendary Dale Earnhardt Senior and Junior. Let's see what else. We also have the Ken Griffey Senior and Junior. Oof, Ken Griffey Junior. Man,
Legendary.
that
Yeah.
he's one of I'd say the more successful juniors that have in sports. Man, impactful.
I
Um,
agree.
man, you talk about shoes and the
Oh
presence of
man.
Poster Boy.
Them
He
Griffiths
was he was
Jr. Oh man, them shoes, man, they were
They were
whew,
nice, man. They were nice,
fire.
bro. Fire, man. So Ken Griffey was definitely he definitely led up to, I think he may have surpassed his father, and that's the argument that
Right?
people may have said. But you also have the Alomars, Sandy Alomar, Roberto Alomar. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and also to finish up here, well, we also have two more, Bobby and Barry Bonds. And to end up
Barry
the
Bonds.
Mannings, man, you
The
have
Mannings, yeah.
Archie Manning, the father, and then you have Eli Manning and Peyton Manning.
And
Success.
man. Yeah, no,
So
yeah. I mean,
there is times where it works out, man.
there's times where it works out. There's times where it's not. I mean, you just gotta kick like like we said at the beginning of the episode. You just gotta roll with the punches.
But it all starts at top with the parent, man. I'm sure
No, I 100%
those
agree.
successful duos they fell in love with the sport on their own. I can guarantee you that.
Right, right, right.
Just because they
And
were
like
so
you
used to
said,
seeing
like
their
Jokic,
pops.
Noah, and his
Joking.
dad, they
Yeah.
Joking, Noah, two different sports, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it just happens sometimes like that. He didn't
Yeah.
like tennis, but he liked basketball, and and it comes to the thing where, as a parent, when you support your child and support their decisions, support what they want to do, your kids will excel 100%.
Yeah, well, that would have been a massive tennis player at 6'11", almost 7 feet, man.
Facts, man. Facts. Can you imagine, man? Just walk in there. You don't even have to play. Just go collect
I
the
think he's at a
championship.
disadvantage, man, because
Actually, a little
the low
slower.
balls are gonna be harder for him. You know what I mean? But
That is true. That is true. That is true.
yeah,
Pros
man.
and cons. Tall people, it's hard to get things down low. That's why I like to be. That's why I like my height, man. I'm right in the middle.
Right. But how do you think parents could how do you think parents let's say this in the future could support their kids in the right way to allow
Hmm.
them to thrive in these sports without feeling that pressure from their parents? Like,
Right.
is it more than just letting them be, or is there more to it? I feel like there's more to it in a sense because you
Right.
have to not only show that you're invested into the game like they are, but also do it at a distance where it kind of give them that freedom to determine what they want to do within the sport itself. Like, hey, if they be like one day,
Hmm.
mom, I don't like it, try to convince them, but don't force them.
Right. That's one thing. I mean, it's a really is. I would say it's hard, a little hard to answer the question. So I'm going to give my answer based off me being an athlete, not being a parent because I'm not a parent yet. Don't know how that feels yet. But I would say like one of the things that I would say my mom really allowed me to do is figure out on my own. And what I mean is
Mhm.
like she let me figure out like what position I want to play, you know. And
Right.
then from there, what she did was like just help me improve on those areas. Like, we'll go to the batting cages, taking me to the field on a Sunday, and just hit ground balls and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
yeah, and just work on my game. I feel like that's the biggest thing. Um, then again, my mom is a beast at softball, so I picked up some tricks from her as well.
Yeah. Now, I think the
uh,
importance. I think the importance is more so like just allowing us to do, like to
to,
play everything, different sports,
hmm
and to see what you kind of wanted to. Even not just sports, supporting
right.
you in other hobbies that you may have.
Outside of sports as well. Yeah, yeah.
Um.
And I feel like that
Yeah.
was the biggest thing, man. Honestly, I had the opportunity to play all the sports. But I don't know. I always love baseball, and I just stuck with it. Have fun doing it. Like I said, there were times where I'm not gonna lie that I wanted to just stop playing,
Mhm.
but I just have to go in with the mentality of not looking at the competitive side, but more at the fun side of playing baseball.
Right.
And my mom really allowed me to actually play.
Right.
And of course, for me, for her, it was more important me getting good grades than playing baseball. So it was kind of like I would say my incentive for being good
I
in
guess
school.
that's one of the good things about the sports and parenting is that you could use
Hmm.
that as an advantage to kind of make the kid get good grades because you'd
Right,
be like, hey, if you don't get your grades up, you're not gonna play this year or whatever, or
right,
you're not
right.
gonna get that bat. Like this man Michael used to have all the freaking bats, man, and all the gear. I would say that I'm envious of a lot of kids when I was coming up
Yeah.
because if I would have had the investment that most of these kids had, man, I would be in the
Hmm.
majors easily.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, man. And that's what it is, bro. Like when a kid's playing sports, like the time that their parents spend and the money on like gear and stuff, it's all an investment. And I feel like at the end
In
of
the
the day,
unknown.
so exactly, exactly. If you I feel like as a parent, like if you guide a kid through the right path and actually show support and teach them discipline, that investment can pay off.
Yeah, but the problem with that is like as a parent, you are in the role that you have to provide for them and invest in all these
Hmm.
sports. But the problem is if the
Right.
kid falls out of love at it, then you're somewhat at a loss.
That's a
But
lost
you know what I
investment. Yeah,
mean.
yeah.
But don't look at it as like a loss. I'd say. But I mean, I did everything. Like I said, I played most sport. I played I think every sport. Literally, I also played like all the damn near music instruments. I
Hmm.
even did chorus. Did everything, man.
Whew.
You know what I mean?
Course,
I did
man. I
everything,
remember
man.
course class, man. I like honestly, bro. That's one of the thing I wish I would have kept going with, and that was course. It was fun, bro. I don't know why it was just fun, and me being a retired artist slash music producer,
Mm.
I enjoyed my time while I had it.
Right. Nah, but what was the last thing? I mean, what do you think? What else should she touch on, or she think we should wrap it up there with some final thoughts about this whole topic, man?
Yeah, yeah. I would say let's go with the final thoughts. Let's not drag it too long. Or I mean, or is there anything that you would say like, you know, I guess that this could be the last question, Um being a kid athlete, like what are some good things that you picked up from playing sports? Like how has that translated into your life, and how the I would say leadership uh people that how do I put this? How like for example, coaches play a major
Right.
role in where you are in life right now.
Well, to start with that, with the coaches thing, is the coaches are your parents away from home, so it's super important.
Hmm.
They have a big role. Also, coaches, you look up to them as a father figure. It's weird. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but
Right.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
when they're
Yeah.
doing it right, when they're doing it right, because
Facts.
you just go
Facts.
to them
Let's
for
point that out. Yeah.
advice, and also they helping you and develop, also giving you life advice as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think coming up in youth sports, what it helped me with mostly was meeting friends, meeting brothers, having good friend, like lifetime friends, like
Right.
a lot of the
Yeah.
childhood, like little league, guys, all were my boys throughout middle school and high school. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Even now, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's something that if your kid struggles, I mean, I don't know how many people are parents listening to this, but if
Right.
your kid struggles with making friends, definitely sports is the way to go.
Is his way. Yeah. And I agree. I agree with you.
Even beyond that, even in like college, it helped me. Like, I didn't have to socialize as much in college with like
Mm-hmm.
regular people because I had my brothers, what I'm saying, in football. Like, and we all kind of interacted with other sports. So it's kind of like that advantage I'd say you have. Like, you didn't have to go through that whole like say for instance, you dropped in a whole nother state in a new place in a college and you have to socialize because you don't know anyone.
You got to
You know what I
make
mean?
friends. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
football
Like,
kind of helped me a little bit.
nah, I agree with that. No, that's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear it, man. Also, if you guys are listening, if you're still listening at this point of the video, let us know how you experienced. If you were an athlete when you were a kid, let us know how that has helped you uh, in your life now. I mean, I also share like for me is I would say it taught me a lot how to work as a team and a lot of discipline. Like
Discipline
for
for
example,
sure.
like when I'm trying to uh start like a, let's say, like a new hobby or new thing that I want to do, I'm I noticed that I'm a lot more disciplined than a lot of people, and it's just because I grew up, you know
Hmm.
playing sports where you have to be disciplined to be able to improve.
That's true.
um yeah, although my golf game has not been great, but I've been super disciplined, like going I'm getting back into it now, and I'm going like once a week, just hitting the range and improving that way. So yeah, that's how I would say sports have impacted my life now as a grown man, quote unquote.
Not facts. I mean, it was an interesting conversation though, man. A little bit
Hmm.
different for sure. But
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. Yeah,
if you
yeah.
guys are going out though, or sorry, if you guys did go out for
Yeah,
Cinco de
Cinco de
Mayo, let us
Mayo.
know how you guys how your weekend was.
Yes, sir. And shout out to all the Mexican brothers and sisters that listen to the podcast. Hope y'all enjoy Cinco de Mayo. I know big fight. Just coming off a big fight because we're recording before the actual fight. Don't know the winners, but
I'm gonna say there's
I
an
enjoyed it.
upset.
Let's put it that way.
I come
I
from the
enjoyed
future. I come from the
it.
future, and there's an upset. Canelo lost.
This guy, nah, knockout round 8. Wouldn't it be crazy if it ends on a knockout round 8? That
Yeah,
would be crazy.
by Canelo getting dropped. That'd be wild.
Well, mm, I'm not gonna say I love to see that, but we'll see what happens.
Word.
But
Nah,
thank you
yeah.
guys for tuning in to another episode that the Vibras podcast. We highly appreciate you. We appreciate the support. Thank you to all the subscribers that come in every single week and check us out. If you're new here on the platform, make sure to subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube, and leave a positive comment. If you are listening, make sure to leave a review. Let us know what you guys want to hear in the upcoming episodes as well. And I guess the last thing to say is to make sure to subscribe
And let's
and
vibe.
let's vibe. Peace. I'm only passing. Man, I was messed up that last part. I can never do as good as you, bro. That's your thing from now on, bro.